Soon, get 0% financing for 60 months on every model.
Good morning, America. The urgent search underway right now for two people swept away in this Virginia flood. The rescues overnight and mudslides turning deadly, destroying this home in North Carolina. Now, more rain on the way. The flash flood warnings across the East Coast this morning.
Armed and dangerous. The manhunt for this suspect accused of gunning down and killing a sheriff's deputy, then going on the run. And President Trump heading to Texas this morning to meet with families of the victims killed in the high school shooting. And the emotional moment as a 13-year-old confronts the White House about guns in school.
There is nothing that could be more terrifying for a kid to go to school and not feel safe. So I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Breaking his silence, Roseanne's TV husband John Goodman weighing in for the first time on Roseanne being canceled after that racist tweet causing so much uproar. Now Roseanne's new line of attack against the group she says cost her her job.
And real-life heroes. The youth football team pulling over to save two people from this wreck, banding together to lift up the vehicle.
Keep on coming, keep on coming.
What they're saying about the rescue.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And good morning, America. Hope you're well this Thursday morning. Welcome to Cecilia Vega. And we're going to show you that rescue. That was some real good teamwork there.
Boy, talk about teamwork. That is an amazing sight right there. Speaking of teamwork, guys, tonight, as you may have heard, my Golden State Warriors taking on the Cavs. TJ Holmes had the luck of sitting down with our hometown hero, Steph Curry, before the big game. We will see what he has to say. You guys know my knowledge of sports is a little shaky. On this one, I'm on solid footing. My family is going to be up all night. They are ready for celebrations in the Bay Area and Oakland. So that's all I'm saying.
Proud to be from the Bay Area. Love that. All that is coming up. But first, we begin with that devastating flooding emergency. Rescues overnight in Virginia. At least two people missing this morning. And take a look at Asheville, North Carolina. Town underwater. Ginger, of course, is tracking with the latest for us. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you, Robin. Two people were killed in this home in a landslide, came down, took it out. It's been weeks of saturated land and then a ton of rain overnight. Asheville, North Carolina, you saw those images. It's their wettest May on record, not just there, but all the way to Chicago, where we're seeing images like this. So it's a widespread region that has been seeing too much rain. And now this morning, we have flash flood emergencies happening as we speak. Several people being rescued overnight. At least two are missing. And now we see that where that's happening. Flash flood warnings just north of Charlottesville, Virginia. From Maryland back to Georgia, we have flash flood watches, and that moisture is just going to keep pooling up from the tropics, hitting those fronts and lifting and dropping up to 3, even 5 inches. George?
Wet day ahead. Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. We're going to turn to the manhunt now for the killer of a sheriff's deputy in Tennessee. Officials are warning that 31-year-old Stephen Wiggins could be armed and dangerous. And ABC's Alex Perez is in Dickinson County, Tennessee with the latest. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, George. Law enforcement across the state has been working through the night searching for any sign of the suspect. They say it's only a matter of time before they catch up with him. This morning, an all-out manhunt in Tennessee. This is the face of the man police say committed the brutal murder of Sergeant Daniel Baker. Authorities going door to door searching for suspect Stephen Wiggins.
Anyone that would murder a deputy sheriff protecting our community is a threat to anyone. Sergeant Baker was responding to a call of a suspicious vehicle when he tried to pull Wiggins over, leading to a chase ending with a shootout.
Armed suspect, officer safety.
Investigators say Sergeant Baker's radio then went silent. Using GPS, authorities later tracking his vehicle, finding his body inside.
We just ask for your help so that we can hold this person responsible and fully accountable.
Now, overnight, special agents arresting an acquaintance of the suspect, Kim Castro Miles, and charging her with first-degree murder in connection with the killing. Officials reminding the public that this suspect is considered armed and dangerous. Robin?
Yes, and hopefully they will find him soon. Thank you, Alex. Now the latest on that possible summit with North Korea. This morning, the most senior North Korean official to visit the U.S. in nearly 2 decades is here in New York City, meeting with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, is tracking this. And Martha, what do we know so far about their meetings?
Well, Robin, the two men will continue those high-stakes meetings today. But last night, it was dinner high above New York City, with Pompeo making a point of saying they dined on American beef. The man Pompeo is meeting Kim Jong-chul had to get a waiver to enter the U.S. because he is on a sanctions list. He's a former spy chief in North Korea who is believed to be behind the Sony Pictures computer hack and the sinking of a South Korean naval vessel, as well as other violence. But he's also the chief nuclear negotiator and is hammering out details of what this now likely summit will entail and what each side is expecting. There are logistics meetings going on as well in Singapore and on the demilitarized zone. Robin.
And of course, everybody wants a successful summit. How do they define success?
Well, the Americans want denuclearization, and the North Koreans want security, which right now they have, they think, because of their nuclear weapons. So the key will be figuring out how to convince them they will be secure without them. It's tricky, Robin.
It is. All right, Martha. Thank you, George.
Okay, Robin. Secretary of State in New York, President Trump heading to Texas this morning, visiting the community of Santa Fe after that deadly high school shooting. I want to bring in our chief White House correspondent, John Carl. And John, students want answers about what the president's going to do to stop these shootings.
The president heads to Texas, George, after the White House got a very pointed question from a young journalist about what the president is doing to make kids safer at school.
In several emotional meetings after the Parkland shooting back in February, President Trump vowed action to combat gun violence in schools.
The world is watching, and we're going to come up with a solution.
But what has actually been done? That's what 13-year-old Time for Kids reporter Benji Shakroon wanted to know when he made a surprise appearance at Wednesday's White House briefing.
In my school, we recently had a lockdown zone. One thing that affects mine and other students' mental health is to worry about the fact that we or our friends could get shot at school. Specifically, can you tell me what the administration has done and will do to prevent these senseless tragedies?
Drawing an emotional response from the press secretary.
I think that as a kid and certainly as a parent, there is nothing that could be more terrifying for a kid to go to school and not feel safe. So I'm sorry that you feel that way. This administration takes it seriously.
Shakroon later told us he thought Sarah Sanders' response was authentic.
It showed how she was really a human being, and I really look forward to see what steps the White House will make to resolving this issue.
The president has taken some modest steps to improve school safety. He signed a bill to improve background checks and offered some limited funding and federal grants to help schools improve security and training.
The president has talked about some bolder ideas ranging from raising the age limit required to buy assault weapons to arming teachers. But, George, the bottom line is that nothing significant has yet been done on the issue of school safety. Even the funding that's been out there has been quite limited.
Yeah, a lot of resistance in Congress as well, John. Meantime, on another front, major economic decision could be coming from the White House today on aluminum and steel tariffs. That could hit home for just about every American.
Yeah, this is a big deal. Back in March, the president announced steel and aluminum tariffs on many of our allies. Those tariffs were delayed in implementation. The deadline now for actually putting them in place is tomorrow. The president did that delay simply so a deal could be worked out with our allies. No deal has come, so those tariffs could go into effect. And as the president of France put it, that could mean higher prices for Americans and also more unemployment.
We will be watching that closely. Okay, John, thanks very much. And Cecilia, you're coming from the White House. A lot of focus on Melania as well.
Yeah, definitely, George. There is another big headline this morning. Those growing questions about First Lady Melania Trump's whereabouts. She hasn't been seen in public for 3 weeks. The last time was before she was hospitalized. We know this to treat a benign kidney condition. After 5 days in the hospital, she returned to the White House. The hashtag #WhereIsMelania was trending on Twitter. Well, she's now responding. She's tweeting, "I see the media is working overtime, speculating where I am and what I'm doing. Rest assured, I'm here at the White House with my family, feeling great and working hard on behalf of children and the American people," but no word yet on when her next public event will be. We want to turn now to,
We want to turn now to this morning. The case against President Trump's personal attorney is heating up. Prosecutors are searching through potential evidence seized in that FBI raid, evidence that Stormy Daniels' attorney says could be explosive. ABC's Kira Phillips is in Washington with more on this. And Kira, investigators are literally now trying to piece together clues.
That's right. Hi, Cecilia. This morning, Michael Cohen and his attorneys are actually in a pretty frantic race against time. They're scrutinizing millions of documents seized by the FBI, trying to protect attorney-client privilege, and a court-ordered deadline now of June 15th that they say is just impossible to meet.
This morning, federal prosecutors building their case against Donald Trump's personal attorney piece by piece, literally. On Wednesday, prosecutors indicating for the first time that among items seized in those April 9 raids, Michael Cohen's shredder, giving a forensic team the painstaking task of piecing together the contents.
Normally, when we shred documents, we think they're gone.
Right, but they're not. If they're in strips, you can put them back together and potentially produce new criminal evidence.
Prosecutors telling a U.S. district judge they'll need 2 to 3 more weeks to reconstruct the pieces. They also said 2 of Cohen's BlackBerries were recovered in that raid, but they are still trying to access them.
I'll be back.
Other potential evidence? Tape recordings allegedly made by Cohen. Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti, arguing they could be explosive. Avenatti receiving a swift slapdown from the judge. You will not be able to use this court as a platform. Until you are admitted here, I don't expect you to be heard. I can't control what you do outside.
So Avenatti did just that, withdrawing his motion to appear in Cohen's case, but also, not surprisingly, going in front of cameras yesterday, arguing the American public has a right to hear any recordings Cohen may have made about certain clients. George?
Yeah, that was a stiff rebuke there from the judge. Okay, Kara, thanks very much. We're going to move on now to a chilling murder story that turned out not to be true. An outspoken Russian journalist at odds with the Putin regime faked his own death, saying he did it to foil a real murder plot against him. Our chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran, has all the details from London. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. You know, you might remember Sherlock Holmes faked his own death to elude his enemies, and incredibly, that's what happened here. A Russian journalist targeted by hitmen cooperates with police in an elaborate stunt, keeping everyone in the dark, including his own wife.
It felt like a moment ripped right out of the movies. A journalist everyone thought was dead, miraculously showing up very much alive and well, walking into a press conference which was convened to update the investigation into his presumed murder. His colleagues stunned. No one more shocked than his own wife, who was the first person on the scene of the fake attack. She found 41-year-old Arkady Babchenko at the entrance to their apartment with fake bullet wounds in his back. She was told he died on the way to the hospital. Babchenko asked his wife's forgiveness as he explained it was all part of a ploy, a dramatic sting operation to fake his own death in order to capture a hitman, and allegedly paid $40,000 by Russian agents to assassinate him. The veteran Russian war correspondent and crusading anti-Putin journalist has been critical of Russian actions in Syria and the Ukraine.
Ukrainian authorities arrested one man. They claim he was plotting 30 more assassinations for the Russians. The Kremlin denies everything. Babchenko's colleagues, they're upset. They say he's now undermined the credibility of all journalists and helped Vladimir Putin and other world leaders attack any story they don't like by calling it fake news. But, you know, Cecilia, I think he's really in the most trouble with his wife.
I think you're right, Terry. All right, thank you. We want to turn now to new video showing what happened before that violent beach arrest on the Jersey Shore. Police repeatedly punching a 20-year-old in the head. ABC's Gio Benitez is here with this just-released body cam footage. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Cecilia, good morning. Yeah, that first video went viral over the weekend with nearly 7 million views on Twitter. Now police say this new video shows the woman hitting officers first, at one point allegedly hard enough to turn the body cam off.
This morning, police in Wildwood, New Jersey, releasing body cam video from the Memorial Day weekend takedown of a young mother. Now we're seeing some of what led up to the moment captured on that cell phone video and posted online, showing an officer wrestling a woman and punching her in the head. It all started when police say they approached 20-year-old Emily Weinman because she had a bottle of alcohol in plain sight on the beach. They took a breathalyzer test. It all seems calm until police ask for her last name.
I'll give you one more chance to give me your last name.
Just be cooperative. Lock me up.
Okay.
You can't lock me up. I didn't disrespect you.
Okay, what's your last name?
You don't need my last name.
Done with you. Do you have cuffs on you?
No, man!
Get over here.
Touch me!
Yo.
Don't touch me!
You're about to get dropped.
Police say Weinman struck one of the officers.
Touch me! No! Put my hair! You're off me! You're choking me! I'm relaxed. No!
The officers restraining her, one seen punching her twice in the head.
You're not allowed to beat me like that! I'm a woman! It doesn't matter!
Weinman's attorney telling ABC News, "I think there was an excessive use of force here, and why it happened, whether it's lack of training or something in the makeup of the officers, is unknown."
And Weinman now faces several charges, including resisting arrest and assaulting a police officer by spitting. Those two officers are now on administrative duty. This investigation is far from over for all of them involved.
Yeah, for everyone involved. Yeah. You're right about that. All right, Gio, thanks so much. You ready for this?
Yes.
Game one! Game one tonight for the 4th year in a row. King James and the Cleveland Cavaliers will face off against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors for the NBA title. TJ Holmes, you couldn't get there to Oakland, so TJ is there. And you had a chance to sit down with Steph, TJ. What are you doing?
Yeah, Robin, we're all getting our last minute.
That's what he's doing.
We're getting our last minute workouts in before the big game tonight.
Standing
Robin,
on a
everybody
chair.
is. Everybody's hyped, right? LeBron's not the only one that plays above the rim, all right? But Cavs Warriors 4, do we really want to see this matchup again? Well, let the players explain to you why you need to watch.
The 4th chapter of one of NBA's great rivalries is finally here, featuring the King of the East
Blocked by James!
and the best of the West. The Cavs, the Warriors, facing off again in the NBA Finals.
If you want to see somebody else in the postseason, then you got to beat them.
Starring 2-time MVP Steph Curry.
4 years in a row, do y'all finally can say, we hate this guy, we want to beat this guy down?
We definitely can say that. That's fair game. It is weird. I joke at some point in the last 3 years, I only know the finals by the atmosphere and playing against Cleveland and playing against LeBron.
And LeBron James making his 8th straight trip to the NBA Finals.
Golden State is one of the best teams I've ever played, and then they added Kevin Durant. So what does that do to him? It even makes him even more dangerous and powerful and great.
The Warriors are hoping to keep the championship trophy here in Cali.
To watch that amazing matchup, get to watch the shooting touch of Stephen Curry, who's a once-in-a-generational type player, the fire of a Draymond Green,
and the what of a Klay Thompson.
I mean the silky smoothness of Klay Thompson. I don't know.
And yeah, guys, I'm up to about 50 pull-ups now. I did it the whole time the piece was running. But yes, tonight, would you believe, the Cavs are one of the biggest underdogs we've ever seen in the NBA Finals. So some people saying, why do I even need to watch this matchup again? It's such a lopsided matchup as well. This is one of the greatest teams going against one of the greatest players. That's why you need to watch tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, right here on ABC, guys.
And that was one of the greatest live shots we've ever seen in the history of broadcast television.
I don't know,
Nice.
TJ. Let's see
Working
5.
out for you, Robin.
Let's see 5 more with full extension.
Why always you, George? Robin tells me I do a good job. George reminds me.
I'm here for you.
That wasn't really impressive, TJ.
I'm here for you, TJ. Well, let's get now to Ginger with severe weather moving east. Ginger?
George the trainer, I love it. There were more than 100 severe storm reports. This truck taken out by more than 80-mile-per-hour winds. The driver got out safely. 2 pockets to watch for today. One that is in the Ohio and Tennessee River Valley, as you can see right there, southern Illinois involved. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, though, the hot cities, sponsored by Liberty Mutual.
You totaled your brand new car. Nobody's hurt, but there will still be pain. It comes when your insurance company says they'll only pay 3/4 of what it takes to replace it. What are you supposed to do, drive 3/4 of a car? Now, if you had Liberty Mutual new car replacement, you'd get your whole car back. I guess they don't want you driving around on 3 wheels. Smart.
With Liberty Mutual new car replacement, we'll replace the full value of your car. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Get the umbrella ready. The big one, too. A few showers this morning. Our temperature is starting out in the lower 70s, but later today, 80 degrees and higher. That will fuel some really strong thunderstorms and the threat of flash flooding for today. So Storm Watch 7 has you on weather alert for today. A little bit of a break tomorrow, which is isolated showers and storms, but could be back on weather alert for Saturday during the afternoon hours as more heavy rain and storms moves into the area. Tomorrow high 90 degrees. The weekend cooler.
Coming up, more Roseanne fallout. Her TV husband, John Goodman, is speaking out now after the hit show is canceled. President Trump weighing in as well. We'll have all the latest.
The day after chemo might mean a trip back to the doctor's office. Just